So we got a package from across the pond from Romania. And I believe this is Voltlog that I mentioned in the Shelly flashing video. And supposed to flash at even a higher rate. What else did he send? Let's see before we... Oh, a little DIN rail. I believe he did mention this. How do we open this? Looks like it just pops open. Let me get a spudger. Yep. Ah, very cool. Let's get all this out the way. I'll open this. I remember him mentioning this was that zoned heating. It looks like it's ESP32. He's got the volt link. He's got some I2C broken out. Some one wire stuff. He's got a button. Interesting little fuse holders he has on there for keeping things from smoking. Seeing his video on this was for multiple zones. They are mains powered, but they're low amperage. And that's what he was able to do here without using some physical relays. Cool that he made it fit in this little DIN rail. Not exactly sure what I can use this for in the southern US due to we just use forced gas heating for the most part. But maybe we can figure out something else to do with this. So shoot me down below if you can think of we can do something with this. Definitely want to play with it on Tasmota and just see how it works out though. But this is what I really wanted to see. His cool little flasher here. And yeah, I guess I do have it upside down. So it is USB-C on the end, which is cool. Don't deal with those cables, and I guess I'll need some USB-C on the desk. And he does have a couple cables here, I guess for plugging in to doing the volt link is what he calls it, for doing that little flashing that other little guy. And then this is for flashing that Shelly because it has this little pin dot pitch header on here for flashing those. So that would be really just plugging in. Then since this cable connects from the flasher straight over to this little header, you can plug it straight into the Shelly. And we do need to make sure it is pinned out the correct way, I believe. So I do believe this is correct, but don't quote me on that. I will go look up the pin out on this from my previous video, make sure I'm doing this right. Definitely don't want to smoke this Shelly here. So pretty cool little thing. And it is using that, so it's using that CP2102N chip on the board. So cool. I definitely will be using this guy and try out, and I'll solder this little header on here. That would be the only nitpick thing. I wish, he would solder that on there, but I can understand that does raise costs and some people may not want those on there, so that kind of gives you the option. I do like it that he did include the little set of those pre-cut, so you can just pop those in. Pretty simple solder. Just throw you some stuff in the back, some flux, and call it a day, and then you can throw your headers on there. I do like that he has... sorry I've had this upside down. I do like that he has all of the things on here. The EN, the IO, the ground. That's pretty awesome because a lot of the other TTLs, you won't have that. You'll just have ground, and you've got to split ground off, etc. So I ordered this a while back, and I do have the mythical coral also on order. That's to be seen if it's going to be shipped, but this one did ship right before the war started, so it did get out and get into the system outside of Russia, because yeah, these are made in Russia and shipped out of Russia at this time. I don't know if they are doing anything differently to try to get them made somewhere else, but the cool thing about this is there's nothing else in the box. But basically the issue is when you go to get that dual core coral. I can say that 5 times fast. The dual core coral is most motherboards and different devices, they'll only support that one PCIe lane, and so it only come up as one coral even though you had two. And yeah, some people even were buying those dual even though they only needed one, even though they knew, but maybe now this board will enable them to use that second port. So pretty cool to see this. I only have single core coral, and but whenever that dual core ships, I want to try this out and use the dual core in a PCIe slot on my machine because I've got several open that I can put this in. So there's the chip right there that adds media ASM 1182E, and you can do what you want and do your own little research to see exactly what chip that is and how it does all the magic. Time for the big box. Kalado, I don't know, just however you want to say it. It's a Wi-Fi automatic pet feeder, and it's supposed to have an ESP. No, it has a spot for an ESP chip, but we're gonna be doing the transplant on it, and then we'll try to put ESP home or Tasmodo on it. Probably uses secondary to your MCU commands, but we'll do a little sniffing. I may do a full setup video on this. They did send this to us, and of course I went and looked up their FCC documents like any normal YouTuber would, right? And see if it was something that we could do a chip swap and get this out of the cloud, right? That's totally normal. Let's see. It looks like, yeah, I saw something about you could do batteries for it, or if you wanted it on Wi-Fi and you put up plugging it in. Yeah, so there's a DC voltage spot there for 5 volts. A recommended kibble is 20 millimeters. Like all the accessories are inside, and then the neck of it looks like just a, oh, those are soft bristles, like a silicone style to turn and move. And then same thing, there's like 2 sets of them down there and here. You can see there's a set on the top, and then down in the little half moon there's another set of bristles to push the feed out of the little hole right here, and this is probably the tray that comes on the front. Tear off sealing strip and take out the moisture packet before use. I don't know. Let's see what that does. For what? Maybe it goes in there to help keep the food dry? Power supply. It's like a little braided style, which is good. You'd be moving it around. And yeah, it is 5 volts, 1000 milliamps. So 1 amp, 5 volt. That's what that, there it is. That's what the packet goes to. I definitely was right on that. So you could keep the food dry, so it probably doesn't get jammed. Makes sense. Slides on, and there you go. And on the front, looks like we have lock button, Wi-Fi, and then you can probably come and feed it. And I guess so the kids don't come by and keep overfeeding the animals, you can lock it. And this slides out for easy cleaning. Okay. It does say you can wash this thing, which is cool. Just rinse it off. More like can't stick it in the dishwasher. Don't recommend doing that. ESP chips don't work well in the dishwasher. That's what a friend told me. And for the fun stuff, DigiKey, no, they did not sponsor this video. I just like to order some stuff from them because they ship cool stuff stupid fast. And yeah, maybe their name is kind of like mine, but whatever. So they do package stuff pretty well, I've always found. So we're talking with a friend of mine, another fellow YouTuber, not in the home automation space, was talking about doing some PoE, Ethernet, stuff for sensors and not have to deal with Wi-Fi and powering things. And well, I always wanted to do that with some of these different boards. And hey, I thought about, hey, now that they had this little cheaper model, I may not be as cheap as some of the other ones, but that Wasp board was just too expensive for me. And these are still kind of higher price, but these are PoE isolated, meaning the power supply is isolated from the PoE side. And yeah, I guess it couldn't be just like AliExpress where, you know, I couldn't just order these two boards and call it a day. I mean, you had a box coming, right? So you had to see what else you could snag. So I snagged a couple sensors I wanted to play with as well. So I had the Shit 31, or that's probably what I want to call them. They're SHT 31. So I wanted to try out the Shit 40 and then the Shits, or that would be Shitsy 3. I don't know. It's SHTC3. Probably not the proper name, but I'm going to call them that, especially if that's what they kind of want. I don't know. But these were a little pressure. No, they don't have pressure. They have humidity and temperature. So I want to see how well they'd work in the bathroom with some of my humidity sensors and compare them to some of the BME stuff, because the BME stuff lately has just got stupid expensive and it's really not worth it in my opinion. So I want to try out some alternative stuff, and why not do it with some PoE style sensors. Interesting. The board's a little bigger than I thought. They did have another model, but it was out of stock. It would be great for like Blairy, I think, is they had the external antenna, and this one really I just wanted the power over Ethernet. It does have the GPIO pins. It's ESP32, so that's pretty cool. I know I've been having a lot of issues, and a lot of issues on top of that with ESP8266 on the ESP home side. So I don't want to do any more sensors on ESP home with 8266, but this is ESP32, so that fits the bill. Pretty cool stuff on the back. Is that SD card? I think that is. It's interesting. Not something I'd probably use, but potentially. Kind of curious to see how this all works, and probably someone's already made a case on Thingiverse and has something going with these. So we got another cool little package here that's interesting. By 5V Systems, I guess, and that's 5-volt systems. Where that comes from, I guess. They give you... got a bit of a glue smell to it. Interesting one. But this is like a wall light. And there's a plug on it with... let me wipe this down. I'm guessing with shipping and stuff, it kind of different parts and pieces. These are WS2812 lights, I believe. Yeah, 5-volt ground. These are the addressable LEDs. They're RGB. So I'm curious to see how that turns out with white, since it's kind of like a lavender it comes out with. And this mounts to the wall, and then your ESP or whatever goes inside. They do have a little soldering board that goes to it. It does show like the way the, if you can see it here, the way the continuity is between all the different holes on that board. That's kind of a cool little touch. And that way you can solder an ESP chip or whatever. And then this looks like it should click in. That's what it is. You just need to push on it a little bit, and then it was lock in. So this is supposed to be on the wall on this side, and then you'll see this facing kind of outward towards the person. That way it's supposed to give out the light. Kind of curious to see how that's going to look without like a translucent, like kind of a diffuser, because this is just clear. I think I probably would have preferred that kind of look to it. Maybe it would cut down the light too much. I'm sure they thought of that or tried it. So next up, we've got these Accents. Looks like they're linked. They're wirelessly linked combination smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Some of this I thought was interesting. Some more of that CYA stuff. I don't know, it's going to be too hard to read on camera, and I'm ADD on it. I want you to test them weekly and vacuum the outside of the device once per month. Okay. Instructions, a bunch of warnings. They give you all kind of warning stickers. Tons of warning stickers. If you want warning stickers, this is for you, right? So let's see what we have all in here. And looks like 3 rings. Not a whole lot to these, no frills. Looks like the ring, you can click these into it. Then it activates once you click the ring into it. Interesting. I like that. It's a cool little feature. Must be trying to link up. Green power, yellow fault, red alarm, move to fresh air, call 911. So it has a 10-year sealed lithium battery. So it looks like when I did turn that, it did turn the switch on the back. So I guess all in all, they're decent little build quality. But we'll see if it works. I mean, they do have some cool little things thought out. The installation dates on the side, so you know when they were installed, because you probably won't remember. And kind of curious to see how they link together. That's my curiosity, since that's a code thing in a lot of areas to link all the alarms together. And another thing we got on Amazon. Because, you know, just can't turn down someone going to send you something, and maybe we could give it away on a live stream or something. Lumary. Let's see, and I'm curious to see. I'm sure this is going to be a stupid beacon chip. We can get it open. So I was thinking about this for a bathroom to replace a light. And see how this would work out. Interesting. 220 to 240. I've had a light that shows 110 to 240, and then it would only work on 240. So I don't know. Is this going to work? This was from Amazon US. There's LEDs. That's hard to see. Around the rim. That makes sense. Paste on the picture. Smells weird. Can you smell it? Something's telling me they're going to have a secondary freaking Tuya MCU, though. No sticker on the chip. Looks like the ESP12F dot pitch. And you can see it was fairly easy for us to get into. Now, are these all addressable? So I was wrong. I wanted to capture this. They are using both warm white and cool white LEDs. So when you go all cool, the warm white ones turn off. And you go midway, of course you get all of them. And then when you go warm, the cool shut off. Interesting light. Oh, It is addressable. I was wrong.